Hello, I'm Brad Sherman from California's best named city, Sherman Oaks. It's a pleasure to be with you. In 1951, my grandfather worked for the United Nations International Labor Commission. He was a specialist in technical education, and he arrived in Sindh. And he said the same words that I'm going to say to you here tonight. Sindhi marhun ke salam ayin balikar. I want to thank my friend Sufi for inviting me here, but also for doing so much in such a short time to bring the issues of Sindh and the Sindhi people to the attention of the United States Congress. These are issues that some of you have followed for decades, but didn't have traction in Congress. Sufi came. We now have a Sindhi caucus. We now have a congresswoman in the Sindhi caucus. And you will see Congress focusing on these issues. With me here is my Foreign Policy Advisor and Chief of Staff, Don McDonald. My California Chief of Staff, Matt Dababneh. And my expert on the Middle East, Siamak Kurdistani. And this is a political action committee, so I'll get a little political. These gentlemen are here on their own time and engaged in politics joyfully. And please give them your business card if you'd like to be involved, frankly, not only in being informed in what's going on in Congress, but also being informed in what's going on in my campaign. I'll tell you about the campaign in a bit. First, a little background, of course, that you all know. Pakistan is one of the most difficult and complicated foreign policy challenges for the United States. You know, the kids have a word, frenemy. I haven't found that in any of the glossaries of specialized diplomatic terms, but a combination of the word friend and enemy. Pakistan is the world's only unstable nuclear power and will be therefore the focus of American foreign policy, even if we weren't focused on its next door neighbor, Afghanistan. But as long as we have still 85,000 troops in Afghanistan, Pakistan is a particular focus of the United States. Our relationship hit a low when we discovered Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, living all too nicely, and then from the Pakistani side when their troops were hit on the border in early 2012. If we're going to be dealing with this issue, we cannot assume that Pakistan is one monolith. Every country is to some extent a mosaic, but few as much Pakistan. If you want to reach out to Pakistan, you have to reach out to Sindh. And we have to do that in the Sindhi language, respectful of Sindhi culture. That language and culture, a way of life, has been under assault from the government in Islamabad, and it is time that the United States be a counterweight, a force for human rights and for the rights of the people of Sindh. This is certainly in our interest because the people of Sindh, influenced by the Sufi tradition, are among the world's most open to peoples most interested in harmony with the United States, and moderate in their approach to Islam. And of course there are minorities, religions in Sindh as well. We cannot ignore the southern third of Pakistan at a time when Pakistan is so critical to our foreign policy and national security. The way to reach out to Sindh is in the Sindhi language. And the Sindhi caucus has succeeded in moving toward the day when the Voice of America broadcasts in AM, probably from the Emirates, in the Sindhi language to reach the southern third of Pakistan. This is important as a national statement that the United States is not on board with the idea of trying to impose Urdu on every citizen of Pakistan. They tried that in what was called East Pakistan. Not a good move, and not a good move for Pakistan in general. It also, though, opens the doors to the hearts and minds of those in Sindh. If you want people to agree with you, if you want to convince them, if you want to build cultural bridges, you need to reach out to people in their own language. So we had a significant step when we were able to get into, we had two significant steps. First, on the Foreign Affairs Committee, back in 2011, I authored an amendment that passed unanimously to say that $1.5 million should be spent on broadcasting in the Sindhi language. This was, however, in the authorization bill. Authorization bills don't necessarily have to pass, and the 2011 authorization bill did not pass the United States Senate. The bills that you know are going to pass are the appropriations bills. If they're not passed, the government shuts down. And that's why we turned our attention to putting into the report of the Appropriations Committee, and Adam Schiff was an important part of this, and he'll be speaking to you later. A provision that says that the committee recognizes the Voice of America for its contribution to our public diplomacy. The committee encourages the Voice of America to examine the feasibility and cost of initiating broadcasting in the Sindhi language, and to be prepared to report its findings during the committee's hearings on the President's fiscal 2014 budget request. Let me translate that. I can't translate it into Sindhi, but I can translate it into English. What it means is, we want you to do this. Either do it, or be prepared to report on your efforts and explain your progress to us when you come back next year asking for money. And this isn't just extra money, this is your basic money. Without this, you don't open your doors, and we want to hear what you're doing. What we really want to hear is that you're actually broadcasting in the Sindhi language. This bill will pass, this will be part of the report, but we now have to work inside the administration and inside the State Department. I met with the Deputy Assistant Secretary for South Asia to press the State Department to move forward. I've spoke to the then Ambassador to Pakistan, Mr. Mutner, to press that embassy both to support this effort at broadcasting, but also to look at all the other ways that we can communicate with the people of Sindh. And I'll get to some of those other ways that they're moving as well. Got this wonderfully written speech from CMAC, which allows me to restate what you already know. And that is, it is crazy for us to communicate with Pakistan only in the Urdu language, which after all is the number 3 language of the country, Sindh being number 2 and Punjabi being number 1. We need to reach out in the language of the people, not the language that a few ideologues in Islamabad wished was the language of the people. Now, I don't have to tell you, the Pakistani government is pushing in the other direction. Their dream of imposing the single language on the entire country has not been extinguished. I don't know if that's a dream. I think it's more of a nightmare. But it is not without resistance in the State Department that we are carrying on this effort. One area where we find less resistance is just trying to get them to do more of what they've traditionally done, and that is conduct public diplomacy, not only in Urdu, but also in the Sindhi language. Thanks to the efforts of our caucus, the State Department is reporting to us what they describe as a more robust effort to reach out in the Sindhi language. I'll need your input to tell me whether they're just doing the same thing and telling me it's better, or whether they're actually better. But here's what they boast about. This year, and this is new at least, the State Department is offering an international visitor leadership program for Sindhi-speaking journalists. This is the first time the State Department has offered any exchange program in Sindhi. And this is a program by which we invite foreign nationals to, from all over the world, or separate meetings. So it's a program that works for various countries and various reasons, but brings in foreign nationals to meet and confer with their professional counterparts and to experience America firsthand. I hope to meet these Sindhi journalists, and I hope they have a chance to meet with you and to see what progress can be made to build a good relationship between the United States and the people of Sindh. Also, again, I don't know if this is par for the course, but I'm being told it's as a result of our caucus's efforts. In February 2012, the ambassador took a trip to Mohenjo-Daro. And I don't have to tell you that that is, of course, the ancient ruins in Upper Sindh. He did an extensive an exclusive interview on Sindh television. As you know, these ruins were built around 2600 BC, and it is the site of what may be the largest city in the oldest city in the entire world, and the largest settlement going back to 2600 BC. Now, the ambassador also told Sindhi TV earlier this year, "We always enjoy coming to Sindh. The Sindhis and poets of this land are behind every brick, everywhere we come. When we come to Karachi, when we come to the towns of Sindh, we are aware of how friendly the place is and how much we can do, American and Sindh, together to build a better future." So I look forward to continuing with the caucus, with Carolyn, to push whoever is ambassador in Islamabad to visit Sindh, to reach out to Sindh. And earlier this year, the then ambassador also hosted in Karachi a dinner for the Sindh media owners and senior editors, and the General Counsel has been holding similar events. Such engagements include exclusive interviews in the for Sindhi language television and newspapers with embassy leadership, with State Department officials, with subject matter experts in their visits to any part of Sindh. And I hope on the other side to be able to call the Pakistani embassy in Washington and find out that they have at least a few people there who speak the Sindhi language, just as I would expect that we would have people both in Karachi and Islamabad who do the same. Now, another major issue I raised urgently was the alarming case, and it's just one case except it's emblematic of hundreds of other cases, of the Sindhi girl, Wrinkle Kumari, who was abducted from her home in Sindh and forcibly converted to Islam. I, of course, wrote to President Zardari to take action to ensure the safe return of this girl to her family. That has not occurred. The legal wrangling goes on. She is still separated from her family, still held in custody, either by authorities that seem hostile to her or by her abductors. When her case was brought before a civil judge, unfortunately the court initially sided with her captors due to political pressure. Her case is just one case of abduction and forced religious conversion in Pakistan. According to the Asian Human Rights Commission, about 20 to 25 forced kidnappings and conversions of Hindu girls take place every month in Sindh. Plus what happens to Christian and Buddhist girls as well. Needless to say, everyone concerned with human rights is urging the Pakistani government to start treating its minorities fairly. The recent release on bail of a Christian girl in another part of Pakistan, I believe in the Punjab, who I know you know the facts better than I do, accused of blasphemy. She is now released on bail, and this is the first time anyone accused of blasphemy in Pakistan has ever been released on bail. But this was a unique case where now a local imam in her neighborhood was arrested and accused of framing the girl by planting the evidence in her bag. If this is true, the imam not only in effect tried to commit murder, but also must have burned copies of the sacred Quran in order to have those burned pages or partially burned pages available to him to put in her bag. I don't want to jump to conclusions on any part of this, except to say that the blasphemy law in Pakistan is a source of great harm to the people of Pakistan and to human rights in the world. And of course we have to deal with the other human rights deprivations and violations of the Sindhi people, the disappearance and the torture of Sindhi activists by local security forces. I, of course, am consistent, and our caucus is consistent, in urging the end of this practice of forced disappearances, another form of illegal detention in Pakistan, and we've written President Zardari on this issue. Individuals involved with Sindhi nationalist parties have been jailed and tortured for their political activities. While Amnesty International reports hundreds of these cases, human rights organizations in Sindh and Baluchistan cite even higher numbers. So many illegal detention sites, so many political prisoners. I'm concerned about the state of the rule of law of Pakistan. Repeated efforts of the Pakistani courts seem all too often to see justice contorted on behalf of extremists and the intelligence agencies. I look forward to working with you to build friendship between the American and Sindhi people. And I want to end my speech once again this year by saying, Jai Sindh. I also want to tell you a little bit about my own political situation. I'm in line next year to be the chief Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I am behind in seniority only one gentleman who is a non-voting delegate from American Samoa. So I'm the most senior Democrat who's a voting member of Congress. And in order for me to, if I get there, my ability to work on these issues with you will be a multiple of what it has been over the last several years. I go from having one foreign policy staffer to having 24 foreign policy staffers. That I go from dealing with a subcommittee to dealing with the full committee. Before I get there, I have to get reelected. Some of you are aware of the redistricting process that takes place. Every 10 years we have a census, then we draw new district lines. And they drew a district for me that was absolutely perfect. So perfect that one of my colleagues also wanted it. And it's overwhelmingly the people I've represented for the last 16 years. But there's a contest between two members of Congress. You cannot be certain of the outcome, although I'm certain I'm going to win. And I am certain that I need your help. And what I know I won't need your help in 2013 or 2018 or 2022, or if I go to the gym 2028. Because once I win this seat, it's a perfect seat. The only reason I have trouble now is there's another member of Congress who represents a small portion of it who's running there. And so I really need your help this one time over the next 50 days. And if I get that help, I'll be working with you, not for 50 years, but I would think about 20, all of them as the most senior Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Now, if you think Obama's going to win, that's the chairman of the committee. If you think Democrats won't do so well, that's the ranking member. I said it's 24 staffers. If I prevail and my party prevails, then I'd be chairman of the committee. That's 60 staffers. And I assure you, that's an opportunity to make sure that not a week goes by that we're not focusing in one way or another on human rights of the Sindhi people. So please help me. Please give my card to myself or one of my staffers, and thank you very much.